Welcome to the Beer N Bulldogs. We're here to celebrate the American Pit Bull Terrier through history, responsible ownership, and appreciation. All discussions are for legal, ethical, historical, and educational purposes. No illegal activities ever. We stand firmly against animal cruelty and dogfighting, both of which violate the Animal Welfare Act of 1976. Let's keep it positive and give these amazing dogs the respect they deserve. Cheers!
About to go down, so who's gonna be my dogs? Cause I'm about to break some laws. I ain't supposed to get in any trouble again. If I do, they gonna put me back in the pen. But you like to dodge my calls, so I'm about to break your jaw. I ain't scared of doing time, it ain't even on my mind at all. So who's gonna feed my dog?
Welcome to Beer N Bulldogs. I'm your host, Calypso, and this is the show where we talk about the game-bred American Pit Bull Terrier, working breeds, and all things Bulldogs. Over a cold one, of course. And today we got a very special guest for you. He doesn't need all the fancy introduction. He's a well-rounded dog man, excuse me, and he loves his dogs. That's one thing that I know about him. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into it. We got Lucky Lopez, y'all.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what up, Lucky?
What's happening, Marcus?
Oh man, just working on this show, man, and bringing a good dog man on the show to do some dog talk.
All right.
That's
well, I'm glad to
about
be
it.
here, bro. Whatever you guys need, I'm here to help you out.
Well, okay then, Lucky, I got some questions for you, man.
All right.
All right, what first got you into the American Pit Bull Terrier, and how old were you when you first got into him?
Well, it was 1985, and about 15 years old. Wilmington, California, in the harbor area. I had a friend of mine that had a pit bull, black male called Taboo, and he had this. He was a big old black head, and he was a beautiful dog, just a sloppy dog, and he had this. His ears are cropped, and when I first saw Taboo, I was like, "Damn, what is that?" Here we go, the American Pit Bull Terrier, and everybody in the hood had one, and I got to see the puppies when I was a kid. But this time, it really grabbed my attention. I go, you know what? I was at an age that, you know what? I want one. I'll get one. So first thing I did is I went to the recycler, or I went to the lawn ads, and I looked for American Pit Bull Terrier puppies. I went to these ads, and an ad came up in my town, just in the town next door, which is San Pedro, California, and Pit Bull Terrier puppies for sale, APBT registered. 15 years old. I had no clue what that is, and so I went over there and looked over for the lady. I knocked at her door. It was a white lady. That's what she was. And she had a bunch of Mexican kids coming up to her front door, the guys from the hood. And she's like looking at, what you guys doing here? I go, well, I'm here for the ad. They go, oh, okay, come on. So they made us look over the side of the fence, and there was a bunch of black puppies. Looked like Taboo, but this one of the puppies stood out. Her name was, I didn't call her a lady until I got her home, but she was a red brindle, red nose. She stood out of the crowd. I go, I want that one. And he goes, okay. She grabbed her. She brought her over the fence, and I think I paid like $120 for her.
Wow.
And she gave me an ADB registration form, and I sent it in, and they sent me a 4th-generation pedigree. And from what I remember, in that 4th-generation pedigree, I remember seeing Carver's Night Train. I remember seeing Carver's Stampanado, and I had no clue what that was until today. You know, when I started doing the research, I was like, damn, even back then, you know, we had some good bulldogs in the area. People had some well-bred dogs. and you could get them in the recycle. You can get them everywhere. I mean, back in the day, the recycler was it was like a want ads for cars and parts and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
I have a recycler in Vegas, but the recycler was
I lived in California. I lived in California before I went to Vegas, so I have a lot. Yep, I do know.
Yeah, the recycler was like Sporting Dog Journal. There was dog, and they would name it Bloodlines, Hemphill, Tant, Blood, Jocko, Red Boy Jocko. There was a lot of Red Boy Jocko blood back there. And I would go to the want ads. So after I got lady, I went to go get me a book at the library, which I ended up keeping, and a Stratton book. And I read, and that little female, she was really shy. She was scared. I took her away from her family, and she got really scared. She ran out of the van. I didn't bother with her. I let her stay under the van in my backyard. And I lay down on the porch, and I read this book from cover to cover. By the time I was done reading the book, she had creeped out from under the van, slowly but surely, and won her confidence, and she laid her head on my chest. So at that moment, I got the bug.
Oh.
And at that moment, I caught her heart. And the rest is history, bro. It's been hard to have another breed after this.
Oh man.
And so that's where I got started. And then I got involved. I got the bug really bad. I started buying dogs from everybody. Jake Wilder, Ronald Seitz. Those dogs I started with back in the day, '85. Jake Wilder was still alive. I dealt with people like Ronnie Hyde, Frank Lunsford.
Rest in
a lot
peace.
of people that are not around no more.
Yeah,
dead and
rest
gone.
in peace.
Bert Soros, and so I got real heavy into the dogs, and I started buying dogs from Mike Norrod.
Oh, nice.
Mike Norrod back in the day. A lot of the old Hemphill, Red Devil blood, Carvino blood. I got some, and started getting stuff from Chinaman dogs back in the day when they first came out.
Right.
And
nice.
and it just kind of snowballed, bro.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah.
It's snowballed, and it's in once it's in your blood, but it's hard to get out.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to get out. And
for a lot of my listeners, because some of them, they may not be, they may be new to the breed. Could you explain to them what's the difference between the American Pit Bull Terrier and dogs that people sometimes call pit bulls?
Well, there's a big difference, and you know what? I think a lot of dogmen today would like for people to remain ignorant, and the fact that they think that's a pit bull terrier. People will say, "Hey, is that a pit bull terrier?" I go, "No, that's just is that a mixed breed?" I go, "Yeah." I'll be walking my dogs down the street. A lot of people ask me, "Go, that dog's mixed with something, right? What is that?" And I go, "Yeah, it's mixed." I would rather have them believe it's mixed. That way they don't understand or know what we really got.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a big difference between the American Pit Bull Terrier and the mixed breeds that you see walking down the street and that most people have in their backyards.
Mm-hmm.
Most people today don't have a real game-bred American Pit Bull Terrier, which makes the whole difference in the world. Most people think they confuse your dogs today with the blue bullies. They confuse your dogs with the XL bullies. They'll confuse your pit bulls with Presa Canarios. Any bull breed will be lumped up into one category today.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, any breed that ends up hurting somebody or killing a neighbor's dog or killing a neighbor's cat gets labeled as a pit bull terrier. So it's sad that a lot of these dogs that are causing bad publicity for our dogs and for the game are usually not American Pit Bull Terriers.
Yeah.
They're mixed breeds. They're dogs that are half pit, half Staffordshire Terrier, half Presa Canario, half this with half pit bull, and they all get lumped up as an American Pit Bull Terrier. So we get the shit into the stick.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. And most of the people, when they see a true a game-bred American Pit Bull Terrier, they don't know what they're looking at.
No, they don't. Everybody,
they don't.
They're like,
wow,
it
looks like a greyhound.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. And for me, I prefer to them say, yeah, that's what it is. I'm raising greyhounds. because I'd rather keep them ignorant. And then they were like, "Oh, well, listen, I want one of those." No, you don't want one of these. I try my best to discourage people. So you know what? Get yourself another breed. Find yourself something else to do. You know, raise bills. Raise the Malinois.
You know,
don't raise an American Pit Bull Terrier.
Yeah, I understand
unless
that.
you can help it. Unless you can't help it, you know. So there's a big difference between people think, oh, just because I remember back in the day, oh, the big head. It's a Pit Bull Terrier because the big blocky head.
Yeah.
You know, the powerful breeds are the one with the big blocky head, with the muscular bodies and they're squatty and they're bow-legged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those are exactly what a Pit Bull Terrier is not.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and most of the mainstream media is going to confuse people in general, anyways. You know,
right?
And give the bad rap to the people that actually have these dogs, that raise these dogs for hog hunting, for confirmation, for weight pull, for the athletes that they are. You know, and so they ruin it for a lot of people that are actually doing it for the right reason.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Thank you for that. So what bloodlines do you, I mean, I know that you obviously were dealing with a lot of bloodlines in your past. Today, what bloodlines do you prefer working with?
I think when I started out with a lot of the working dogs. When I started to get real understanding of what a game dog was, and understanding of what a real American Pit Bull Terrier was, the APBT, and the working breed, I wanted to get the very best of the best.
I hear you.
So I started looking for the best, and I would settle for less. You know, I started going to people like Bert Soros. And we got a lot of great dogs from Bert Soros, which was, you know, they're a mixture of the Carbino bull, Soros bull, the Kohler stuff, the Klaus blood, which is Bolio's half brother. I preferred, in my opinion, I preferred a lot of the bull blood over the Bolio blood. They're a lot more better structured dogs. Bert's dogs, I love the way that Bert Soros dogs were built confirmation wise. Their temperament, just a beautiful all around dog, man. If I could go back and have the dogs I had back in the day off of Champion Raisin, Champion Virginia Slim, those dogs that I had entire litters off of Raisin, Champion Uncle Bud. I'll tell you what, brother. I go, those dogs were something else, man. Special dogs, which we do have some ancestors of that. But once Bert passed away, most of his dogs and the type of dog that passed away with him, you know, which is a sad thing. But they do. There's people out there that do have that blood and keeping it pure and keeping it working, like Mr. Parker. Yeah. There's a guy by the name of Mick Smith out there who's got some good stuff too. Kept the stuff working and actual really tight, pure bull blood. You know, going back to Hard Eyes, going back to Raisin, going back to Johnny Walker Red, Shoshone. I mean, I've actually rubbed shoulders and I talk heavily with the old. I keep in contact with the older dogmen. Yeah. That actually knew and worked hand in hand with Bert Soros, and those are the type of people I like to keep company with, you know. Yeah. Because they know the past, they know how the dogs were bred, they know exactly how to cross them too today as well. So for me, my personal favorite, my personal dogs, I love the old Bert Soros blood, but Ronnie Hyde really ruined me. Yes. I mean, I'm going to tell you why. Yes. The dogs that made Chinaman, the dogs that made those real power punchers, those real heavy duty dogs, the Chinaman dogs, the spike dogs, came, I believe, from Ronnie Hyde. That Wood Snooty, Hyde's Bloody Sunday, Hyde Satch, Hyde's Bloody Sunday crosses. Those are the dogs that actually made the Chinaman dogs of today. Yeah. And those, so I got dogs directly from Ronnie Hyde back when I was a kid, and that stuff ruined me, bro. After that, I didn't want anything else because I got to see it with my eyes. I got to work with it, touch it. Yeah. And I was like, and then once you see other types of blood that would lay down and kind of just, fizzle out and kind of like Floyd Boudreau says, melt like an ice cream cone in the sun. Once you see those dogs, that doesn't compare. So you want to stick with that stuff.
Yeah.
So the blood that I have today is the closest thing I could get to the original Hyde's blood, Satch Bloody Sunday blood, the original Abernathy's Molly, the Chinaman's Mama, Champion Boy, and so that's what I'm working with today.
Nice.
I work with the Heavy Black Angel, Little Gator blood, which is the basis of everything that we do. And we have outcrosses because you can't keep it pure, becomes too tight, and then you lose stuff when you start inbreeding.
Yeah.
We use the bolio to keep it nice and fiery. We keep a little bit of the red boy stuff as well to add to the old Eli blood, to keep that fiery as well. And those types of crosses we've been have success with, especially the stuff off of Sprocket from Floyd. We've had some success, very high success with the stuff off of Sprocket, bred to the Lucky 2 stuff. And that's basically what we have right now. We've come out with some champions that have produced and they're doing well till this very day. So, and we're not talking about dogs that are back in third and fourth generation. We're talking about dogs that are actually first generation dogs, We're keeping every generation in our family of dogs working and viable.
Yes.
That's a lot. Yeah. I hope I answered your question.
Man, you did, and you gave us a little more game. A lot of the listeners love that. They love when people, get a little deep with it. I like it, man. Man, so
there's a lot of people that I'm sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people will call me and say, "Hey, man, I want some pure Little Gator blood." Well, what happens is you can't get pure Little Gator. There's no such thing as a pure Little Gator blood. Little Gator blood Little Gator was crossed with different types of blood. He was crossed with Rascal dogs. Little Gator was crossed with Corvino dogs from Indian Sunny. He was crossed with different types of dogs, and everything they crossed Little Gator to produced good dogs. He was crossed with Midnight Cowboy dogs, with Turtle Buster dogs, Jeep dogs, and he produced well in every breeding. And on top of that, a lot of people don't understand the Little Gator was cold. It was a cold dog, cold as an ice cube. But every time they bred him, he produced monsters in each category, in each bitch that they bred to. Amazing dog. I had a group of friends. We talk about the dogs, and they asked us, "Would you breed a cold dog?" If your dog was like Little Gator, hell yeah, I would breed that dog every day. Huh. If your dog was like Little Gator, but a lot of people, the dogmen today say, "I would have breed a cold dog." You would have destroyed. If you don't breed a cold dog like Little Gator, you would have destroyed a whole line and a family of dogs that wouldn't exist today. There would be no Black Angel. But
you obviously knew what you were looking for, and a lot of other dogmen, they knew what they were looking for. There's something you gotta, and that takes a lot of time, and that takes, I ain't gonna say a lot of time, but it takes some time to really see what you're looking for in a dog, and that's, like you said, Gator was amazing. I've heard people talk about Gator, and they were like, somebody said when they first seen Gator, they were like, "Has that dog got Shar-Pei in it?" Because he just looked crazy too. But
dog. A lot of people today, Marcus, within the dog game are illiterate. And when I mean illiterate, they don't know how to read their pedigrees. Yeah. And a pedigree, people say, "Oh, pedigrees are not important." Yes, they are important because it gives you the genetics of the dog. It gives you the family tree. It gives you what you're going to have in your litters that you're producing. Okay, if you don't know what you got, if you don't know how to read a pedigree, and you don't know each dog in that pedigree, you won't know what to look for, what's going to come to the table when you breed that litter. People that are breeding pedigrees are don't know what they're looking for nowadays. I'll give you a perfect example. A Champion Pepe Toro. I only speak for myself. I only speak for what the dogs I have. He's a brindle dog, and we bred him to different bitches from different, basically Lucky bloodline, line-bred Lucky dog.
Yes.
And in every litter, he's produced a snooty-looking dog. A dog with the blue eye, a dog with the white face, buckskin. And I've had people tell me, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Why are you breeding? Why are you hanging papers?" Like, we're not hanging papers, bro. You know what? If you look at Pepe's pedigree, he's a little gator dog.
Yeah.
And basically, with the little gator dog and what Champion Boy was, there were snooty dogs. And if you look at every dog within the pedigree of Vinny's Lucky 2, Miss Nevada, well, not so much Miss Nevada. Miss Nevada was mostly Bolio. She was just an eighth of Chinaman. You look at every dog in the little gator blood, and every dog that comes down from Grand Champion Spike, they're snooty dogs.
Yeah.
So eventually, down the line, your dogs be looking like snooty or should throw some snooty traits.
That's cool.
Or dogs that look like snooty.
Yeah, and I tell people that.
In every generation, even if I'm a brindle dog, I bred him to black bitches, white bitches, different bitches, and he would always throw that same type of dog that looked identical to snooty. And it was because the snooty bloodline was heavy in his blood. See, dogmen will lie to you, but genetics will not.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I've talked to people before because they always got a problem when they see the one blue eye. I told them, I said, "Hey, man, it's a performance thing. We don't care about the color of the blue eye, you know."
Exactly. We don't care about the color. But you know what? What the color does, it gives you the genotype, the phenotype of the dog. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And pedigrees are a map. If you don't know how to read a map, you're going to end up getting lost. You don't know what you're going to be. You're going to breeding what you're getting yourself into. So pedigrees are telling you the ancestry of the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, I've seen some old Sorrel's blood
mm-hmm.
that is still viable and working today, and they pop up with a dog that looks just like Sorrel's bull, and it's like, damn. You know why? Because that's what they're breeding for. That's what they're breeding in their bloodline. Mm-hmm. If they're breeding for if they have a heavy Shoshone dog, heavy Johnny Walker Red dog, hard eyes, and it's because, you know what? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Nice. Yeah. No, you're right.
If you get a dog,
them Sorrel's dogs, man,
for example, it's a commonly black dog. Black dogs, heavy Henry dogs, which were commonly brindles, black dogs, or some black and tans in there. If you come up with red noses in there, somebody might be lying to you.
Mm.
You know, even though some chocolates will come up, which is a variation. Chocolates are variation of a black.
A black, yeah.
Sometimes. So, but as far as like the old family red nose dogs, the red eyes, the red nose, the red toenails, you get dogs that are predominantly black dogs. They're supposed to be predominantly black puppies that come out from that, right?
Right. I would
sometimes, you know, you'll get dogs in their red noses. You know, I personally remember as a kid seeing a daughter of Chinaman who was a red nose, a chocolate red nose, but she was off of that old Arnie Steinberg stuff on the bottom. And I thought to myself, I go, well, wasn't Chinaman black?
Mm-hmm.
But I totally missed the opportunity with girl because I should have got her. But because she was red, I didn't think she was the Chinaman dog. But I made that mistake, you know. And we make those mistakes a lot. So we can't go by the color. We have to go by the performance of the dog above all.
Yes. Speaking about the performance, Lucky, what's your go-to conditioning for a dog? Your routine?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think every dog. It depends on the type of dog you're working. All dogs are not created equal. All dogs are not conditioned the same. It depends on the type style and the type of the dog you have. You know, there's people that can actually work the mouth off right out of the dog. You can work them to the point where that dog, his power, his punch can be taken away, and you're taking away his strength by overworking a dog. I've always believed in keeping a dog healthy. If you don't know what you got before you go to the hunt, there's no need that even go hog hunting if you don't know what you got, you know, to win.
Yes.
And the proper conditioning has to go with the strength of the dog. Okay, if you got a dog that have a heavy punch, heavy foul type dog, a dog that likes the rear end of the hog, or likes the front end, and has got the mouth to work that type of style. For me, hand walking is the best. Why do I like hand walking so much? Because I think it not only it keeps the dog strong. It not only keeps the dog. But you're building also a bond with the dog. I think the conditioning is when you're conditioning a dog, 3 days on, 4 days on, 2 days off, or whatnot. However you condition, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. The most important thing in that keep is the bond with your dog. Right. I was always taught you bring that dog inside the house with you. You always bring that dog inside of a crate, inside by your bed. You cover him with the blanket, making sure that all the way up into the point where he has to work at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. Boom, take him out of the crate. He's ready to rock and roll. Nice. So, for me, sometimes keeps are complicated. Yeah. And people will complicate keeps so that you can lose. I've heard people say, you know what, I run my dog on Jenny for 4 hours. And I go, that is, who told you that? He goes, I do my dog that. I ran my dog on, I've heard people say, I run my dogs on a treadmill for an hour and 30 minutes. I'm like, what? Do you want to burn your dog out? You want to hurt your dog? First of all, it's important for a dog to empty out every time. Every 30 minutes, should be able to empty out. Make sure the dog's peeing right, have his kidneys correct, and should be able to learn how to pace himself too as well. It's very important. How to use a treadmill, how to use a carpet mill, how to use a Jenny. I've never employed swimming too much. I've stayed with the old-fashioned type of reading instruments. Keep instruments like the treadmill, the slap mill, the carpet mill, and walking for me. As well, as far as diet's concerned, I like a high protein diet, very good carbs. I've learned a lot from the old timers. Cornmeal, beef, chicken, a lot of chicken broth in my cornmeal, and keeping your dog healthy is the most important thing. Keeping your dog healthy. Yes.
So, I heard you say something, and you were talking about how you bring the dog in and you keep it by your side, you put a blanket, things like that. But I was going to ask you just in another form, how do you keep your dogs mentally sharp? Not just physically, but just mentally sharp.
A lot of people don't realize that that mental sharpness, the bond starts from the time that puppy is born, from the cradle to the grave. You can't put a puppy out on a chain for a year and come back a year and a half later and expect him to perform like a grand champion, because you've never touched him, you never walked with him, you've never spoken to him, he's never heard your voice. You're encouraged, and for a dog to stay mentally fit, you have to have a bond from the time it's a puppy to the time it's ready to hunt. For me, I believe it's about maybe 95% bond.
I think you're right.
Everything else. A dog will go above and beyond the call of duty for the person that he loves, for the person that constantly is talking to him, constantly working with him. I like to take my puppies on a car ride. I like to take my puppies out, socialize with the kids. I'll put them on a chain. I like to get them used to different types of environments. Yeah. I like to switch them up from being where the puppies are at, the puppy pen, and put them with the big dogs, because they start acting like big dogs. And you put them real to, and for me, I believe dogs understand more than we think.
Yeah.
And dogs have something called the desire to please.
Yeah.
All dogs have that. The desire to please you. They know what you want before you want it. So when I get out to the yard, I step outside in the yard right now, the dogs come to attention and they're like, "Oh, Dad's here." And they're like, and the puppies will be like, "Hey, look, Dad, look what I could do." They'll hit the end of the chain and they'll start acting like a bit because they know what Daddy likes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, acting really good. They'll get really excited when they'll see and when I give the leash, everybody goes nuts. When I go to the treadmill, everybody goes crazy. Oh, we get to run the mill. Or I'll bring out a flirt pole and I'll start playing the flirt pole individual chain spots. Dogs go nuts then on flirt pole. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the flirt pole. So there's a lot of aspects of keeping your dog sharp. And you know what the most important thing is? Create the bond. You put into that dog, what you put into that dog is what you're going to get out from that dog.
Right.
If you put no time in your dog, don't expect him to give you time.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I tell people, ask me, go, what do you feed your dogs? And I tell everybody, I feed my dogs TLC. They're like, what's TLC? Where can I buy it? I go, bro, you can't buy TLC. That's something that God's got to give you. It's called tender loving care. And a lot of people don't have that nowadays. People they ask me, how do you learn that? You got to have it. God's got to give it to you, bro. And you have to have a compassion. Has to be empathy. There's got to be love. Man, bro.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people will raise a dog for 2 years and not touch it, not talk to it, not caress it, not to say, "Hey, man, oh man, good boy." I mean, bro, we as dog men get more back from our dogs than we give to our dogs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're in it. The bottom line, you know why we're in it? Because we get more, they give more to us than we give to them.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and we not only admire the traits like gameness, perseverance, tenacity, strength, you know, that keenness. I was crazy outside. We love those traits.
Yes, we do.
And we as human beings want to emulate those things. And above all, I think we would love to emulate a dog and its loyalty.
Yes.
If we could emulate loyalty, man, brother.
Yes.
That would be the greatest thing in the world. If we could emulate what the dogs do for us.
Right.
In the world. If the world would get a better place, to be honest with you.
Yes, you're right.
You know?
Yes. Well, Lucky, let me ask a few questions about breeding. Let's see. What do you think about, what's the difference between like new school breeders and old school breeders?
Well, for me, first of all, there's got to be we have to identify what a breeder is.
Right. Let's get to it.
Because there's two entities within the dog game that people don't know: breeders and handlers, or people would like to call them gamblers. Breeders and gamblers. The breeder, the handler is a person that is keen on preparation, on feed, on the dog that is an adult that's ready to hog hunt. Mm-hmm. The handler is the man that has a keen eye for talent. Mm-hmm. Has a keen eye for a dog when he's working, in his attitude on the chain, and in his physical conformation. The handler is like, wow, that dog, we can win with that dog.
Yes,
we can hunt with that dog.
We can take
come
down
up on
the
top
board
with that dog. So the handler is real keen on that. Okay. And the handler says, man, he could see, oh, I have that dog that could beat that hog, that could catch that hog. That one. So that's what a handler will do, and he'll see that in different dogs. And that's what a handler is. A handler doesn't have patience for puppies.
No.
because he's looking at one thing. He wants to go to the hunt. That's all he's concerned about. Can the dog hunt? Can he work? Does he have natural air? Does he have good mouth? Can he run a treadmill? Can he run a Jenny? That's what the handler's concerned about. Now the breeder, and for me, I'll give you a perfect example of a breeder. Floyd's done both. But Floyd Boudreaux is the epitome of a breeder. A breeder is someone who keeps a family of dogs and keeps it pure. Tom Garner, another breeder. A man who had, patience with puppies, a man who loves keeping a line bred, a family of dogs, and he's been very successful with the Chinaman Frisco dogs.
Yeah.
Floyd, he's been successful with the Maverick, Bully Son, the Eli Jr. dogs. Eli dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Successful. And you know what? And there's not that many breeders left.
No.
Very few. Bert Sorrells was a very good breeder.
You are right.
Okay.
He was,
and a breeder has these attributes, and I'll share these attributes real quick with you guys. A breeder has the attributes of being patient, like a farmer. Planting the seed, preparing the ground, waiting for it to grow, to bring forth its fruit. A breeder is always watching out for his bitches. And a breeder, man, bro, the most important thing to a breeder, you know what it is? Bitches, not males. The bitches are the most important thing in a breeding repertoire. In a breeder's repertoire, the most important thing is a female. Because she's the one who chooses the males, the females, their attitudes, their actions. They come from the female. So a breeder will also be keen on one thing as well, which is the quality of their males. They're winning males. Do you know Joseph Colby or John P. Colby did not test females? Only the males went to work.
wow.
Because the females were too valuable. They're the ones that produced what he was going to go to the show with.
Yes.
Okay. So a breeder will always want to keep a family of dogs pure. But there's a big difference too between there's people that are breeding for conformation show, breeding for hog hunting. And your best hog hunters are always 50-50 crosses. If you notice, Grand Champion today, he was like a 3/4 cross. He had a quarter of this, a quarter of that, and a half of this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had a little bit of Red Bull, had a little bit of Little Gator, a little bit of Chinaman. Had a good mixture of dogs in him. And he was a very intelligent dog. And high vigor breeders are meticulous on looking for dogs that will produce hybrid vigor in their family.
Yeah. Nice.
So the big difference today is there's not many breeders. There's a lot of backyard breeders.
Yeah.
Everybody's a backyard breeder nowadays.
Yes, they are.
But a true breeder will always endeavor to keep a family of dogs. Okay, a real breeder is not buying up everybody's dogs. Every Johnny come lately, they'll go buy Karate dogs, they'll go buy Red Boy dogs, they'll go buy this dog, they'll buy that dog, and they'll mix it up all in one. A real breeder will stick with the blood he started with till the wheels fall off. Like the Cameron family. You ever see the Cameron blood?
Oh, yeah. Norman.
Which is a Midnight Cowboy. They have some heavy Bully Son blood. Midnight Cowboy, some Ronnie Hyde stuff in there as well. But they're basically Bully Son dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Line bred. And those guys, with the dogs that they started with, they kept them right into the very end.
Oh, man.
3 Dog Night, TDK. Steve, with the bullshit dogs, with the alien dogs. These guys have made it their life to keep dogs they have originally started with and keep them pure and keep them working.
Yeah.
And that's what a breeder is.
Yeah.
A breeder, if he's still buying dogs that are coming down the pike today, that's not a breeder, bro. A breeder will stick with the bloodline that he started with till the wheels fall off, till the day he dies. Like Walter Komasinski. If we go back to the original breeders of the past, Walter Komasinski, man, I heard that when he died, he killed a lot of dogs. Died with him. He put them all to sleep. I think Ozzie Stevens might have gotten a little bit of that. Frank Roca might have got some of that stuff, but a lot of the dogs that he had died with him. And it's hard to find pure families of dogs like Bert Sorrell's dogs, you know, to keep it pure. There's people out there who do keep it pure and keep it working, and it's real important to keep that stuff like that, you know.
Yes.
For me, that's a breeder, bro.
Man, that was beautiful, man. There was questions there. Are you there, Lucky? Yeah, I was saying there was questions there that I was going to ask, but you already answered them. So where do you see the breed going as far as the future, though? The American Pit Bull Terrier.
It's I'll be honest with you. We're in a touchy situation. It's real precarious. A lot of people hate what we do.
Yes, they do.
A lot of people hate. I've got hate mail. I get threats. And all we're trying to do is preserve a dog that in its original form. All we're trying to do is keep our dogs working, our dogs pure. Like the day when Joseph Colby got his dogs right off the ships when they came from England and Ireland.
Yes.
Our endeavor as dogmen is to make sure that they don't change.
Yeah.
That they don't become fancier dogs. You know what a fancier dogs is? Is a dog that sits on the couch. Or a dog that's just a trophy. Or hood ornament. Or just a ring ornament. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's due to public pressure. Due to mainstream media.
Yeah.
And a lot of people and a lot of stuff's going on Facebook too, Instagram, TikTok, social media.
Yeah.
It's destroying a lot of what we're doing with our dogs. For me, I've always said that when Floyd Boudreau goes, and we hope he stays with us, an era of dogs will die with him. There will be no more dogmen like that anymore when Floyd dies. When Floyd passes away. God forbid. I pray God gives him another 20 years.
Me too.
Because he's a leader in the dog game.
Yes.
If you notice, and I'm sorry to change the subject, but every time people have needed to refresh their blood, especially in Mexico, Enrique Morfin, Arnaldo Cardenas, every time those guys had to refresh blood, you know where they went? They went to Floyd's backyard. Every time somebody came up with winning dogs, they had to go to Floyd's backyard. Instead of going to Ecuador, instead of going to Peru or going to Europe, people are going to Europe and buying dogs from where. Don't get me wrong, they're great dogs.
Yeah.
The ship stuff that's in Europe, right? Is a ship blood or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the people are going all over, and that's great. But you know what? We still have a golden era dogman living today. His name is Floyd Boudreau, and he's in our backyard.
Yeah. And
we haven't taken advantage of that blood, man. That it's solid. Like, people don't know what they got until they lose it. So, we're losing a lot of the dog game, bro, to a crab bucket mentality. And I'm going to tell you what that is. The crab bucket mentality is that people that as soon as somebody is rising out of the bucket, coming out and trying to do something different and trying to be better, so much hate, so much ignorance, so much jealousy between dogmen. All they do is grab you by the back of the leg and drag you down to the bucket at the bottom of the bucket.
Oh,
Okay. That's what I call crab bucket mentality. That's where we're headed to in the dog game.
yeah.
You know, instead of applauding one another for the things that we are doing that's good, preserving the blood, actually getting out there and hunting, we criticize one another. We call each other curs and liars, and we're hanging paper. Bro, we just, you know what? We're not destroying ourselves from without. We're destroying ourselves from within. You know what? The enemy is not so much the fur mommies or the fur babies or the people, the animal rights people. You know what our own enemies are? The people within the dog game.
Right.
You know? And the biggest problem when the FBI comes or the police come or the government comes, you know what the problem is? They mix the bulldogs with drugs, alcohol, bad alcohol. I mean, human trafficking.
Yeah.
And they mix all these illegal activities together with the bulldogs. And you know what? Who gets the bad rap?
Guys like you.
Yeah. People that are actually trying to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are, you know what, bro? I'm worried about one thing. I want to feed my dogs.
Yeah.
I want to feed my dogs. And other people say, you know what? In order to feed my dogs, I gotta sell acres and acres of marijuana. That's great if you want to sell acres of marijuana, but don't mix the two, because what's going to happen when they bust you, they bust your dogs, and we get the bad rap for it.
Right.
You know, they bust people with guns, and you know what? Billions of dollars cash in their backyard, buried in the, and you know what? And their dogs there too. And you know what? And they lump us up. They lump us up as one.
Right.
As drug dealers, as murderers, as liars, as rapists, as at the bottom of the barrel. And we're not bottom of the barrel, bro. We're family men.
Right.
Kids, we have families. I got a mom. I got a dad.
Yeah.
You know, you know what? I go to church.
I do too.
You know, I go to church. I have a lot of faith. I believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
And I got people all the time. They say, you know what? You don't believe. You're going to go to hell. I'm like, my God, I'm going to go to hell. Why? When I stand before God, man, God asked me, what did you do with your life? I said, man, I raised a bulldog. I raised a game dog. I did what I did what you gave me to do. You gave me the gift to do.
Right. I mean, and
God can say, okay, I can't argue with that.
You know, I respect everything you just said, because, you know, like you said, we're just trying to preserve the breed. We're trying to keep the dog the way it was supposed to be. Just like if you have, you know, there's two shepherds nowadays, and that's fine. But there's a shepherd that's supposed to go out there and it's supposed to get the lambs. If all we do is just take the shepherd and bring it in the house, and it's never been out there with the lambs, and we just keep breeding the shepherd that's in the house, we're going to lose the shepherd that was out there getting the lambs. I mean the sheep, excuse me, but you know what I'm saying.
They know how to work.
Yeah. Right. And it's like, this is what the dog was bred to be. It was supposed to be a dog that had the courage, now you got this pit bull who sleeps with a whole house of cats, you know, and I'm not saying that pit bulls can't do that, but I'm saying when it's told what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to be the dog it's supposed to be. And a lot of people don't understand that. So when you were saying that, I definitely, you know, respect what you're saying. I wanted to add on to it with just a little bit of the lighter side of things. Noticing that the pit bull has became actually better than every other dog in almost every sport that there is. I mean, jumping, shoot, you got pit bulls out there going in the water getting ducks when guys are shooting ducks nowadays. How do you feel about all that? And just seeing how they've grown. The pit bull has grown.
Look, the standard that we have for confirmation within the ADBA confirmation show standard, it comes from working dogs. 100% working dog men with working dogs. So an athlete of that type is going to excel mentally, physically in all arenas. Treadmill racing, wall jumping. It can compete with the Malinois. It can do what is that called? Agility courses. I have a dog. Well, we bred a Fat Bill's bear. We had Bear here, and Bear was bred a China girl, which is Champion Pepe El Toro's sister. And we sent this puppy to Canada, a male, and they're using this dog right now for agility courses against healers, shepherds, the dogs that catch frisbees. What's the name of the dog? I can't remember. Those dogs are real famous for being real fast and high jumpers. And this actual American game bred pit bull terrier is competing at the top of its game. I have it on my Instagram. I have videos of it on my Facebook. And his name, I forget his name, but he's off of Bear, a game bred dog, off of China girl. And this dog is excelling within an arena which was not typically known for an American Pit Bull Terrier to run.
Yeah.
See? But when you keep a dog working, he's going to excel in everything that you put him to, mentally, physically, and his spirit as well.
Yes.
I mean, this lady called me. She goes, "Man, I got people, Malinois people want to buy my dog. I got people within the agility course that say, you know what, whatever you want, I'll buy your dog." He goes, "No, my dog's not for sale." Because he's beating these guys at their own game.
Yes.
He's competing with Malinois. He's competing with healers. He's competing with these dogs that they're jumping in the pool. They're doing the long distance jumps.
Yeah.
And this dog's beating them all.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you got to get. And the reason he's beating them all is because you got to thank a dog man.
Yes.
Look at bottom line, bro. It's not the dog. It's the dog man.
Yes. Yes.
It's the dog man behind the dog.
Yes, it is.
The dog's a piece of clay, and the dog man is the one who molds him and makes him what he is. You know, putting in those traits and breeding for those actual traits of tenacity and strength and power, intelligence, gameness, long-windedness. There's a lot of attributes that a breeder he looks for in adding to his family of dogs that will cause his dog to excel in every arena. You see those dogs that are within the French ring,
right?
That are excelling.
Yes, they are.
Because they were kept working by people like us.
Yes.
And like you said, if you keep them in front of a TV screen watching The Lion King, they're going to go to pot.
I like that one.
Straight up, bro. Straight up. And then, I mean, look, people get upset because my dogs are on a chain. You know what? I've seen my dogs eat through chain fence to get to another dog. Jump over, rip chain link fence, and end up in tragedy. Right. The best way, the most healthiest way, the most cost-effective way for us to keep a yard of dogs like I do is a chain, a 20-foot, 10-foot chain.
Yes. Yes.
With swivels, and they call us monsters. The monster is the guy who lets his dog loose.
Yeah.
It is irresponsible and letting his dog run the neighborhood and kill neighborhood cats, dogs, and livestock. That's irresponsible. But you know what? We're responsible breeders and owners because we keep them that way.
Yes.
You know what? And it's better mentally and physically for the dog to be on a 10-foot and 20-foot chain. Why? Because why would you keep them in a cell? Why would you keep them in a prison cell?
Yeah.
5 by 5 or 10 by or a 10 by 5. There's no room for that dog to move around like he does on a chain.
They've been using it. They've been using the chain since the beginning of time with canines.
And you know what? It's all
nothing
happened
wrong
in the
with
last 30 years when people begin to humanize our dogs. You know, I listen to Cesar Millan a lot. He makes a lot of sense. And I'll tell you why. Because he's coming. You know what? The problem. The lady asked him. He goes, "What's the smartest breed of dogs?" And he said, "You know what? The smartest breed of dog is a street dog." He said it like this. He said in Spanish, "The smartest breed of dog is a Mexican street dog." Why? He goes, because he knows how to hang out with other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
He cohabitate. He knows where the food is at. He knows how to cross streets. He knows where the red light and the green light is. He knows how to get hit by a car. But the dog that sits in front of the TV screen watching Lion King all day and has a pillow and has to be cuddled and fed a bottle and fed these crazy foods, that dog, you put him out in the street, he'll die. He'll get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm. You are right.
They've humanized the dogs to a point where the dog cannot work on its own anymore. He cannot live as an original dog that he was meant to be. Let's say Jack Russell Terriers. They're extremely high. They're extremely hyper. And you know what they're doing? They're trying to take out the hyperness away from the Jack Russell Terrier. He's a ratter.
Yeah. He's supposed
They're trying to humanize a dog. You're not going to take that away from him because he's a working breed.
Yes. Yes.
You're cutting his wings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's more cruel to take an eagle to cut its wings so that it won't fly.
Yes.
And these animal rights people, that's what they do. They want to destroy a breed. They want to make them statues now. Just ornaments. Just sit there and don't move. Sit on that couch. Don't say a thing.
Yeah.
That's not a dog no more.
No, that's not a dog.
Might as well just get you a plaster statue. Just have them sit there, talk to it, or make a robot.
You are right.
But leave the working breed to working people.
Yes.
You know what? The bottom line, bro, is that you know what I tell a lot of people. You know what they want to do to us? They want to emasculate us. They want to cut our balls off.
Ooh wee.
They want us to fit in this little cushy box. And they don't want us to ride. You know what? For us, as a kid, shit, I wanted to ride a rodeo bull. Even though it would kill me, I wanted to ride a rodeo bull. I wanted to blow shit up. I wanted to be on my bicycle and jump over shit. And then when I saw the bulldogs, I was like, oh, hell no. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they want us to be bitches instead of men.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they want to take away our beer. They want to take away our balls. And they
ain't taking away my beer.
That's what they want to do, bro. They want to emasculate us. And they want us to they want to feminize us. Don't get me wrong. There's great dog women, too.
Yeah, there's great. Yes. I wanted to make it. Yeah. I was going to say that.
And my respects to them. But the bottom line is they wanted to take away, you know what? Our right to hunt. We've been hunters from the beginning.
Yeah. When
we're starting fires, we were hunters. And you know who was on our side? We're the dogs.
Yes. Well, so Lucky, let me, I'm gonna ask you a question. So who was the best dog you ever seen on four legs that you just recall in life that you're just like, man, that was the dog?
I can't talk about my own dogs because that'd be very biased, and I don't want to be associated with another pet that I know because it would be terrible. Because people have associated me with another person that and because he's the greatest dogs on earth are his.
Yes.
And I'm not going to do that, bro.
But, and he does have great dogs.
I'm not going to do it. I just can't because that would be biased. And I'm going to be honest. You know, I've seen a lot of great dogs. I'm going to talk about someone else's dogs instead of mine. And I think that's important. Okay. I want to give credit where credit is due. I've always said that the dog is only as good as the dog man. Okay.
Yeah.
And some of the best dogs I've seen have come from the man. Look at my respect and love for Mr. Vinny Romeo has been, even though we've parted ways, and even though we have differences, you know, people grow up, people separate. I've always called Vinny a King Midas. I'll tell you why. Because everything he's touched has turned to gold. I got to see Lucky Way. I saw it with my eyes. I got to see Lucky Way go. And the same night, the Champion Pepe went as well. And powerful, a dog that had just really had it all, man. He scratched like a rocket.
Wait 1 second, real quick.
Like an alligator.
For all my listeners out there, this is a show for entertainment and historical purposes. So everything he's talking about, he's just telling you what he may have seen way in the past. This is a long time ago.
Yeah. So when I talk about scratching, okay, and I'll classify that. A dog, well, when they cut a dog loose into the hall, and there's videos everywhere of that happening. A dog that hesitates, Lucky Way never hesitated. The hog is 200 pounds bigger than him. Able to open him up and with one tusk. And this dog would not hesitate. No fear. No doubt in his mind what he wants to do. And grabs his hog and stuck with it. Let it go. Wouldn't let it go. Until its owners came and did what had to do with it. All right. That's what we're talking about. Our dogs are, and I think Lucky Way, which is a son of Lucky 2, was a great dog. I've seen numerous dogs in my mind. I'll give you another example. There's this thing called Gameness within the dog game, which a lot of people they're confused about it. They think that Gameness is because your dog grabs a towel and hangs onto it and you lift it off the ground. That's Gameness, and that's not true. Or because the bite, he blew up a basketball with one bite. That's a game dog. Or because his grandparents were game. So-called game. People will sell you stories. But gameness is what we all look for in our dogs, which is the willingness to continue in the midst of extreme. You're losing a battle, and you continue to fight with all your heart. You continue to go forward. You're not deterred.
Right.
Your eyes don't turn away. You're set on your target. And as a matter of fact, you'll take your death for it. That's gameness.
Right.
And
well, I was going to say
one of the greatest dogs, little greatest females I saw, and I'll share this with you, was off of a bitch off of Boudreaux's ham. And I saw a little dog do things that a dog twice her size wouldn't do. And impressed me so much that I said, "Dang, I need to get me another one like that."
Yes.
That impressed me, and so I've always gravitated. After that, I've always said, "Damn, I'm gonna grab." I gravitated back to Floyd and the ham dogs.
Right.
I love the ham dogs, bro.
Okay.
And I love the ham dogs. So the Lucky Way.
Lucky Way.
And the sons that came down from Lucky 2 ROM are some of the. I have a lot of stories, but there's some stories you can't share. I mean,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
People will take it all the wrong way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We'll misconstrue it, use it against us.
Yeah.
And so, but we do our best to keep this, safe for us, for you, for our families. Well, because I like my freedom.
Yes, no,
And
I like that.
people are looking for to rob us of our freedom.
Yeah.
If they rob me of my freedom, they rob me of my dogs. They rob me of my family.
Right. Right.
You know?
And
people will go through any length to destroy you right now.
Yes. So
that's where we're headed to in the dog game now, bro.
I know what you mean. So on that note, let me just ask you, for you, Lucky, now we're going to talk about you. When you're dealing with your dogs, what's one trait that you're saying they must have before I even think about breeding them?
There has to be that gameness, which is the core of what the epitome of what the definition of what an American Pit Bull Terrier is. It has to be gameness.
I can do it.
It has to be gameness.
Okay.
That will always be the theme.
Yes.
Well, what people will gravitate to is that gameness.
Thank you.
I think that's the number one attribute.
Okay.
Everything has to come second to that.
All right. Well, this is the part of the show. It's called Quick Fire Question. Where I just shoot some, A or B, and you pick which one, you go with. Okay. So, raw or kibble?
Raw.
Okay. Let's say spring pole or flirt pole?
Flirt.
Okay. Treadmill or road work?
Road work.
Okay. Let me think. Do you rather have a lean dog or a short, stocky dog?
Lean.
Okay.
As far as lean, I mean short, stocky, or rangy. You mean?
Yeah.
I would have the rangy.
Okay. Big dog or little dog?
Little.
Okay.
That's only two choices I have. It would have to be little. I like my medium dogs, but it would have to be little. I can't do big dogs no more. My age.
Okay. I think I already know the next one I was going to ask, which was chain or kennel.
Yeah, it's got to be chain for me. Kennels are just not effective, man.
No, I dig it. So, Lucky, what's one misunderstanding about the American Pit Bull Terrier that you'd just like to get straight right now?
Dog aggression and gameness. They're not the same.
Right.
Okay. I've seen champion winning dogs that have hung out together with puppies and other grown dogs and not hurt each other. And I've seen and I've known these dogs to win within. I mean, against all odds, these dogs continue to do their thing, and in the right setting, in the family setting, have been the best dogs with families. You talked about cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grand Champion Virgil hung out with cats.
Yeah.
The Gamblers. Grand Champion Virgil was a dog that rode alongside the Gambler in his buggy and fed the whole dog yard. He would get off and he would hang out with some of the dogs. There's actual video of that. BMW Cubs, Champion Bullet, and Ickis, and some other dogs were under the care of one of the members of the BMW clubs, which I personally know, and these guys, and this guy kept the yard of dogs loose together.
Mm-hmm.
They were champions. And people will call those are curs. No, those are called intelligent dogs.
Yeah. Yes.
A true game dog, a true intelligent game dog, you know what? He knows when to turn it on and turn it off.
Right.
He knows when the time to hunt and time to relax.
Right.
You got those crazy ones too. They're just balls to the wall, 24/7. But they're like shooting stars. They burn themselves out. They don't
No.
last very long.
Right.
You know, Grand Champion Títere was one of those dogs too. Very intelligent. He wasn't known to Grand Champion Títere wasn't known to be a destructive destroyer. You know what he was? He wear you out. And everybody thought they could beat him. 7 times. 7 times? Yeah. 7 times they thought. And 7 times they came up wrong. He just wait for you and wear you out. So the dog had no gas. Boom. You're done. And then he'd go in there and do his thing. But there's a misconception today. I had people come on my feed and a female champ, Pepe's champion Pepe brother, my brother, was next to a female. She's in heat. We're breeding her this weekend. And some guy goes, "Oh, those dogs are touching. Those are curs." and those are the type of people we deal with nowadays, you guys. It's an ignorant people that are coming on and destroying the dog game. And they're calling, you know what? They're asking me if I have shark head, piranha pits. I was like, what the hell is the shark head piranha pit? Do you understand what I'm saying? People are coming up with these new terminologies that have never existed within the dog game. When I grew up knowing them, you know,
Right.
I go, bro, I'm sorry, I don't have those, those dogs. They asked me, do you have any shark head piranha pits? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't. Good luck finding them. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
And so the misnomer. There's a thing that people think that aggression and gameness are the same, and they're not.
They're not. Thank you.
It's not. It's not. The dog doesn't have aggressive bone in his body when he's game. As a matter of fact, you can put your face right before the hog and the dog's not interested in you. He's interested in the hog. He wants to do one thing. He wants to win. Mm-hmm. That's what gameness is. I want to win no matter what. I'm going to win. You might be getting beat, but I'm going to win. And so there's a misconception right now, you know, within the dog community, because most dogmen know the truth.
Right.
You know.
Well, Lucky, I think you just explained the true understanding of what gameness is for all my listeners. And I don't think any of the people that I brought on this show, I mean, they could say it, you know, just give a dictionary definition, but you actually graphically, I would say that, or descriptively explained what gameness is. And I do respect that you just did that for my audience. I have one more question for you, Lucky. And I know that you're one of those guys that would probably tell them somebody saying they just want to buy an American Pit Bull Terrier to not buy one. But if they just had to have it and they're like, nah, man, I need that American Pit Bull Terrier, you know, they have to have it. What's one piece of advice you would give to somebody getting into the breed? Yeah.
If somebody asked me they wanted a Pit Bull Terrier, and where would they start?
Yes.
Well, okay. And I would try to discourage them.
I know you would.
I would tell them, go find another breed. But you don't want these dogs because you can't have just one. You know? And then once you get the one, you're going to want the best. And then once you want the best, you're ruined, bro. You'll be chasing these dogs to Timbuktu. Find something else to do.
Right.
It's I would try to discourage you, but if I can't discourage you,
that's what I'm talking about.
If I can't discourage you, I would advise you to find a working dog man, a man who loves his dogs, a man who sacrifices everything for his dogs, and that's where you're going to get the good dogs from.
I wanted to just rephrase that. You did say you would find a working dog man.
Yeah, a working dog man. And when I say working dog man, a man who's just not breeding for paperwork, you know?
Yes.
A man's just not breeding because, you know, the dog that was back in the 5th generation. A man that's actually, you know, like Colby, Leitner, Wallace, Tudor, Mayfield, Boudreaux, Carver, people like these old people, these names that I mentioned to you, were people that lived for their dogs.
Mm.
And they kept a high standard of their dogs. And for every consecutive generation, they made sure those were the epitome of what a working dog should be.
Right.
And I would advise them, look for those type of guys.
Okay.
Look for which there are people still out there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, there are people still out there.
Yes, there is. There is.
There is, man. And you know what? We're a dying breed, but I believe there's always going to be a remnant of these men.
Yes.
Left. They go underground, and eventually we're going to have to go. All of us will go underground to keep this thing alive, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the people that hate us are getting bigger. And they're coming up with more. Man, they're doing everything in their power to destroy these type of dogs, man.
Yes, they are. Well, Lucky.
Is it federal?
Well, Lucky,
everything else? Okay, gotcha. I'll just keep that.
Well, Lucky, I really enjoyed this interview. And on this show, we have a thing like, you know how they say, give somebody their flowers. We call it give a dog a bone. And I just want to thank you for your contribution, man, what you've been doing with the dogs and preserving the American Pit Bull Terrier. And I just want to thank you for that, Lucky. You're a real dog man. You are a real dog man. And
thank you, brother. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your audience and the people that are going to be watching this video. You know, I'm kind of long-winded, you know.
I respect it. I love it.
Sometimes I got a lot to say, and not enough time to say it.
Mm-hmm. That's why we might have to do a part 2.
Oh, all right, brother. Well, whatever I could do to help you out, brother, that's what I'm all about. We want to get away from the crab bucket mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, within the dog game, and start to, you know, shine a light on you know, the good aspects of what we have in the dog game.
Yes.
You know, we can disagree on a whole lot of stuff, but you know what? We can agree on one thing. You know, that we need to keep our dogs working, game, and you know what? We need to keep it family oriented too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we love our dogs just as much as we love our dogs just as much as we love our families, bro.
Yes, we do. Yes,
I do.
I do too.
I do too, bro. And I wish I could involve my kids more, my family more, with what's important to me. I want it to be important to them too. Yeah. I don't want to separate it. You know.
Yes, I do.
You know. So, thank you, bro. I appreciate you, Marcus.
Yes. Well, I don't really have an outro for the show, but I just tell the audience from Beer N Bulldogs, till next time, cheers.